YouTube? Demon Hunter here again with another video. Today we're going to be working with the Fire class on DC Universe. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use it as a PvP build, so how to build a PvP build. It can survive up to having 3 opponents, depending on your skill points, and also depending on if you got some gear. You can run this without any gear and still go 1v1 and put up one heck of a fight. But to be able to pull off some of the videos you've seen in the past with me going into fights against 3 or 4 or maybe even more, like the last video I went up against 8 villains. Yeah, I still lost, but it took them a couple of seconds to kill me versus one person v8, and they had, of course, like I showed in the video, booze, sidekick, and backup, and a few supply drops to keep themselves going, to take down one person. So with the right kind of concept, the right kind of builds, you can do this pretty much with any power, but today we're going to be working with fire. And I'm going to teach you my loadout, my skill point placement, and then I'll show you my gear. My gen mods are the same as they have always been, and we'll work our way through the list. I don't have any gameplay right now of PvP because I've been away from the game for a month. But when the league goes back in to do some PvP, I'll hope get some footage to show you later on. It can hold up pretty well against a lot of things. It can go head to head with an atomic, and both the atomic and this tank will both stay standing, and it'll just never end. You just gotta have the determination to stay alive, and balance your power bar to keep yourself alive. You can't spam your heals like atomic can. You gotta know that as a fire tank. But let's get into this, and I'll stop the rambling. Alright, let's go first off with the loadout. Alright, in the loadout, you have Whirlwind Attack. It's off of your basic movement tree, which is located right here. Mine is Flight. Yours is you'd be running or acrobatics. You will have one of these abilities in that tree. And while we're in this tree, yes, I have all the resistance, because as in PvP, you're going to get knocked down a lot, you're going to get stunned a lot, you're going to get restrained a lot. Especially if you're going up against like a mental or a rage, the K9 off of nature, you're going to get stunned and be knocked down a lot and restrained a lot against things of those natures. And that will keep you from losing power. Because the more you get knocked down, the more that you get restrained, or you get knocked down and you get recovery. You get restrained, you get rooted, which K9 actually roots you. You get stunned, which mental, gadgets, sometimes atomic. Those certain powers of that nature can stun the crap out of you. This is a good way to keep your power going, so that when you're out of the stun, you can immediately pop a shield or pop a heal and keep your rotation going. But the best part about this thing here is this is my bread and butter for draining a player. Basically what I would do is every time they go to try to, like some atomics, if you can catch them off guard with it, when they go to try to pop on their aura to heal, for instance, if you pop this just at the right time, you can knock them out of it, and then they have to break out, and because they don't have these down here, they lose power, and they lose it real fast. So, and it's very player friendly of how much power it takes to use Whirlwind. So you can knock them out of it, so they're not healing, and you're draining them of power each time you do it, because they have to block, and as soon as they will block, you can knock them down by block breaking them, and then rinse and repeat. Pop your heal, go right back into this, and it'll knock them out of it again. But some atomics have gotten smart about it. What they'll do is they'll roll away from you then do their aura, then attack you. Why? Is because that way you can't get them with the whirlwind. But that's not always the case, because you can actually lunge them and then hit the whirlwind and hopefully knock them out of it. Whirlwind's good for pretty much going up against anything. Mentalists, even if they're invisible, this still will hit them. So the invisibility thing is not going to help them against the whirlwind attack. Then you got your next power on your tree, which I use emulation. Not only does it heal you over time, but it pops a shield around you and inflames the enemy. As fire, anything that's on fire heals you as a tank. So as long as you can keep this going, along with whirlwind, you're knocking them out of power, you're doing damage to them, and you're healing yourself over time. Plus, you're getting additional heals from them being caught on fire from the immolation. Is going to make you, be able to heal a lot more rapid. Your next one is, especially when you're going up against atomic, mental, things of that nature that can constantly, sit there and stun you. This is going to come into play, which is burnout. It's a group breakout, but it also works with a single breakout, like if you're by yourself in a 1v1. It helps a lot with well, it's not only that, it's that it's a second shield. All three of these are your shields. These all three do shielding. But this one knocks you out of a break. You can break out of a stun, pop a shield, and heal yourself over time, and immunity to control effects for a short period. Which is good, because if you're going up against the list that's constantly just non-stop spamming you, you're able to get back on your feet and keep going. Your next one is Burning Determination. This is your insta heal and heal over time, and a shield as well. Depending on how much heals you're going to get is if your target's on fire. If your target's actually on fire, you get a lot of heals. Your next one is going to be Backdraft. What this does is, it says it's a pull, but in PvP, this is basically your burst heal. You can use this rapidly, and it doesn't use that much power, so you can use it back to back pretty easily within like a 3-second reset of what it says there. You can use it pretty often, so it's like your bread and butter. Now let's say you do get knocked down, right? This is where Stoke Flames come in. You get knocked down, you immediately want to be able to keep them from pummeling you while you're on the ground. So you would pop Stoke Flames to heal you, and it increases the amount of heals you're going to get. So you would pop this, and then pop your immunity, or breakout, for additional heals. And with this, it's going to increase the amount of additional heals you're going to get from the breakout. Now, with that being said, it's a pretty basis setup. Now we'll go into other aspects of the tree. So your Ikonics, only one I tell people to grab is a Pheromone Bloom. This is only used in PvP matches if you're going into like open world type of matches, like duration matches, like a duel, or Gotham Metropolis, Diamond Heist or whatever like that. This will basically your safe line. This is your lifeline right here. You're gonna pop this multiple times throughout a fight like that, so that you can withstand staying up against 4, 6, 8, who knows how many players you're gonna be up against. That's your lifeline. Then skill point placement, because it is PvP. These ain't gonna do you any good in PvP. And plus, putting it into health ain't gonna do you no good, because you automatically drop. Your health is gonna go to a fixed number, which I believe is around 12,000 ish, somewhere in there. So even if you put all your skill points into health, it's not going to affect your health bar at all once you're inside the PvP arena. Neither would dominance, because that drops as well. I think when you put your gear on, your dominance will drop down to the low 300s. Even if you put 225 in there, you'll be around roughly 450 dom, so it's not really that helpful. And plus, dominance against another player, Because you're fire, you're not stunning anything. Dom is pretty much useless at that point. And so is Might and Power. Might and Power is pretty much you're useless at that point for the fact that you're a tank role. So it's going to be pretty useless. Precision, you can go with that for weapon damage actually. But mainly your part as a fire tank, you're going to be mainly focused on outlasting the other person. Keeping your power bar up, keeping your health at full to the point that they eventually run out of power and they will drop. So it's basically who outlasts who at the end of that fight. So you would go with your crit chance, your crit dom, and your restoration. What restoration will do is it doesn't affect once you're in the arena. So that's a good thing. It doesn't get affected by going into the arena. So by going into the arena with this or this, depending on if you're going DPS, most people going into the arena are DPS, they're going to go with this. But if you're a spam power type person, you're going to go with the Might and Power. But as a fire tank, you're going to go with restoration because it increases the amount of heals you're going to get, even though you're not going to have that much resto going in because you don't have your crit mag or your crit chance, because these don't take effect in the arena. These right here are useless in the arena for a fire tank. As a healer, that's different. But as a fire tank, because it's not part of your role, these are useless. Same as if you would go with these over here. They're useless as a fire tank. Let's head into the actual build of this. Basically, let me get that out of the way. Basically, you would use, you would hit your shield, do your attacks. When you're going into fighting, you can do that. Go right into your next shield because the other shield's almost depleted. Use your backdraft to heal yourself. Drain them of power. Backdraft to heal yourself. Go back into fighting. Drain them of power. Now you see your shield's almost gone. Pop your next one. Go into there. Build back your health. Drain their power. It's pretty self-explanatory when it comes to that, because you want to make sure that you don't activate more than one shield at a time. You have 3 shields, meaning you have 3 times the chance of outlasting that person. So yeah. That's pretty much concluding this whole PvP fire tank. I'll be combining the video, so the next one will be announced right after this. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you right after this.
Yeah, I'm about to call me an Uber.
You can't call an Uber. They banned the Uber.
I don't know if they're running or not.
No, you can't. You can't call the Uber.
They might still be banned.